So I thought with such momentous events taking place tomorrow in this country, I couldn't just go off and talk about something else. Even coming in, as you may have noticed yourself, there was a sign on the door here from the parish about service they had here this past Monday on Martin Luther King Day, to deal with the anxiety and to pray in a suitable way for the situation. And I found some of the papers as they came in that they used, and I'll actually be referring to them. They fit right into what I'll be saying in the teisho. One of my spiritual directees gave me a link to a long 100-page commentary by Ken Wilber on the present situation of consciousness, not only in this country but in the world. An analysis. How many of you know Ken Wilber's work? Yeah, some of you. That's what he looks like. He's, as Deepak Chopra says on the cover of the book, Marriage of Sense and Soul. He's one of the most important pioneers in the field of consciousness. It's true. Very well published and well known. I don't know him personally, but I know several people who do, and I've had talks with him. He basically is about the phenomenology and evolution stages of consciousness. Doesn't seem to have I may be wrong, doesn't seem to have a spiritual connected to one particular tradition, perhaps leaning more towards Buddhism. In any case, the analysis follows the idea that, on the world stage, and he associates colors with different levels of consciousness. You can start, almost everybody starts with an egotistical, worldview, and then graduates mythic literal, then to ethnocentric, my country, my race, my religion. Sounds familiar. But then, a green level, which is, and he says 60 to 70%, 70% of the people in the world are basically in that ethnocentric, which I think is accurate. But then 20 to 25% are in what he calls the green, more liberal, not only modern world-centered, but postmodern, deconstructivist view where, the individual and every value and every worldview is given equal value. So to respect everyone and everyone's perspective. But he suggests that that's kind of degenerated now or reached the end of its evolutionary promise by basically saying, there's really no value or no truth. It's just everybody's truth for himself or herself. And that kind of sputters out. The only truth that has ultimate validity is the truth that there's no truth. It's kind of self-contradictory, as he points out. Well, whatever you think of that analysis, and then you have to kind of go back and find your way again. Whatever you think of that analysis, I think it is true there's a crisis of value in the world today. I think the only way to get back to true value is not by having some dogma, whatever tradition, tell us, but the deep inner experience of what our humanity shows us to be of value. So deep inner experience, a Christian meditation, contemplation, Zen, whatever it might be. And what that shows us, is that there is value. It's to say that there's no truth and no, it sounds a little bit like it could be Buddhist emptiness, but that's not Buddhist emptiness. If you go into Buddhist emptiness, you do find, the Eightfold Path. You find, a truth, which I would say is this, and I think all traditions, when you go deep down, you find this. That there's a deep interconnectedness to things. We're all in it together, and a deep fragility to things. We need to listen and to respect one another. That's true. That was the point of my teisho and my homily right after the election. But what that leads to then, the connectedness and the fragility, is compassion and love. Because you discover the deep dignity of everything, the boundless, deep value, the eternal absolute value of everyone and everything, but also because, and our connectedness to it, but also the fragility of it, the impermanence, in other words, as we say in Zen. So that's what gives rise to compassion, I think. The dignity coupled with the fragility, the impermanence, and the deep interconnectedness, the compassion that we feel towards that. That's really what we mean by the way of the Bodhisattva. The one who's there to liberate and bring enlightenment, bring healing to all sentient beings, and that's the way of the Bodhisattva, who supposedly, as you know, the Bodhisattva means a being of light, enlightenment, who supposedly puts off his own entry into nirvana, into the absolute, as long as sentient beings need that. It sounds like St. Paul, who said, "I'd rather go and be with Christ, but for your sake I'll stay here." Other saints have said the same thing. The irony being that is already enlightenment, is already entering into the fullness when you are pouring yourself out that way, which doesn't stop when you enter nirvana. You just do it on a different level. It doesn't stop when you enter heaven. You bring the rose petals into the world, as you say about Saint Therese, said of herself. So it's not just what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a read, which is found in this collection of chants from Innisfada Zendo, in-zen.org, if you want to get one for yourself. But there's the Way of the Bodhisattva by Shantideva. And as you'll see, it sounds very contemporary for the most part. And yet, Shantideva was an early 8th century Indian Buddhist master who followed the school of Nagarjuna and was associated with the great university of Nalanda in northern India, which I visited. It's no longer there, but the ruins are quite extensive. It was a huge university over hundreds of years, the most prominent university in the East in that first millennium, I would say. But Shanti, of course, means peace. Shantideva, the goddess of peace, or brightness of peace, something like that. But so he was an actual person. This is the Way of the Bodhisattva, a long poem that a presentation which he made. And there's some excerpts here, which I'd like to go through and just comment on a little bit. So by the virtue collected through all that I have done, may the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. So it's a lot of talk about merit, and it always makes me a little anxious. But let's just say, the actual positive energy that is generated by this being connected, this enlightenment, does radiate out to take away the pain of others. May I be the doctor and the medicine. You yourself are the medicine as well as the doctor. Say that about Christ and the Buddhas. And may I be the nurse for the sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. It's not just for doctors and nurses. We're all doctors and nurses. As Pope Francis says, the church is a field hospital. We're all called to bring healing to one another. May a rain of food and drink descend to clear away the pain of thirst and hunger, not just physical, but psychological and spiritual. And during the eon of famine, may I myself change into food and drink. And that's fantastic, realize that we are food and drink to one another. I often say this is the whole God is food and drink to everyone. It's obvious in the Eucharist, literally food and drink. This is the way of the whole universe from God on down. That it's sometimes they express it as we eat and are eaten, eat and be eaten, not eat or be eaten. Sometimes it's said Darwinianly. Eat and be eaten is the destiny of every creature, every being. So we receive the gifts of food, we receive nourishment on all sorts of levels. And everything we eat, physically has actually been alive at some time, so even plants, so their destiny in a sense is to be at the service of, to give themselves. And we should be grateful for that. The Native Americans spirituality has that sense of gratitude towards, the buffalo, etc., and the animals that nourish them. And if you saw the movie Avatar, that was very well expressed in that. But then we in turn are eaten in the sense that we offer ourselves, as he just said, like Christ, like Buddha, like teachers, like every Bodhisattva, like every human being should offer ourselves as nourishment. In the sense of nourishing psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, humanly, socially, etc. All beings. So that kind of self-gift, is what the absolute is what the relative is as well. May I become an inexhaustible treasure for those who are poor and destitute. May I turn into all things they need, and may these be placed close beside them. Now here's an important section for our approach. We'll talk about love your enemies and that kind of thing. Whether those who encounter me conceive a faithful or an angry thought, may that always become the source for fulfilling all their wishes. So whatever happens in their own psyche, may it turn into a way of advancement for them, whatever the effect might be. Secondary. May all who say bad things to me, or cause me any other harm, and those who mock and insult me, have the fortune to awaken fully. So you don't look at what you're feeling, but they may be led, beyond those thoughts, through the experience of them, perhaps, to realize that something is better is possible. Just along those same lines, I'm going to quote what's from a Tibetan master who was a little bit earlier in this collection that echoes those same ideas. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse and slander and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. It's like Jesus taking on the sin of the world. That's what we're all called to do, take on that suffering and that negativity. We repay evil with good. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. So there's always a lesson and an occasion for growth. The one who insults you and mistreats you and betrays you is your teacher, is your benefactor. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers. So in a sense, they're mothering you. Every being is teaching you something and nourishing you in some way, even if it seems contrary. It depends on your reaction and your response, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. So take that upon yourself. Again, as Christ does. So Shantideva goes on. May I be a protector of those without one, a guide for all travelers on the way. May I be a bridge, a boat, and a ship for all who wish to cross the water. Wow, how contemporary is that? I mean, it's crossing the water of illusion, and we can be a bridge and a boat in all sorts of ways to assist, but literally in our crisis of immigration in the world today, how about that? May I be a bridge, a boat, and a ship for all who wish to cross the water. There's that sense of connectedness. Right here in Father Julian, who works with immigrants here right in this parish, and spoke to our priest deanery recently, spoke about as many in the country are doing, about making churches sanctuaries again, the way they were in the Middle Ages for people who were being pursued. Really a bold move. The service the other day here quoted Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 12, about all being one body. Exactly. We're all interconnected. We all form one reality. We're all Buddha, we're all Christ. A litany for unity, and guidelines for listening. really all one and interconnected and respectful of each other, we're actually listening to one another, all along those same lines. May I be an island for those who seek one, a lamp for those desiring light. May I be a bed for all who wish to rest. Interesting image. May I be a wishing jewel. The all-fulfilling jewel is an old Buddhist, ancient Buddhist idea of that treasure that we each have, that enlightened treasure, the jewel of the universe, the jewel of ourselves, the jewel of light. So may be that, a wishing jewel. You don't need Aladdin's lamp if we can provide that for others, and others can radiate that. A magic vase, powerful mantras, a great medicine, again. May I be a wish-fulfilling tree, and a cow of plenty for the world. A cow of plenty, this can be Hindu or Native American. Just like space, and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the countless creatures. So let us be the space where people can grow. Isn't that great? Let us be the soil in which they can grow and flourish. And until they're free from suffering, they also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space, so all sentient beings. So that's the kind of enlightenment and value that we're talking about. And he concludes, just as the previous Buddhas conceived the spirit of enlightenment, as we're talking about, and just as they successively lived in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the sake of all that lives do I conceive the spirit of enlightenment, like our 4 vows. And likewise shall I too successively follow the practices. So recommit yourself to the Bodhisattva way, the spirit of enlightenment, which just happens to bring me full circle back to Ken Wilber, who at the very end of this book says something very much along those lines, and it's kind of a response to what he was talking about earlier about the crisis of value. He says at the end of this book, both enlightenments must be preserved. So yes, the enlightenment of moving to a world-centric and individual-centric and liberal, postmodern, that kind of enlightenment that we've come to, the political enlightenment, that does need to be preserved. Both enlightenments, however, this is spiritual enlightenment that we just heard named here, spiritual enlightenment. Both enlightenments offer freedoms that took evolution billions of years to unfold. Both enlightenments speak to the kindest heart and the highest soul and deepest destiny of a common humanity. Both enlightenments cry out to the best that we are and the noblest that we might yet become. Both enlightenments taken together, point to the liberation of all beings, both in the temporal realm, the enlightenment of the West, and in the timeless realm, the enlightenment of the East. Weaving together political freedom and spiritual freedom, the crisis of value. That's the warp and woof of a culture that cares. Could we really speak of world peace without both of these freedoms made available to all? Could any of us be deeply happy without these freedoms shining from the faces of all of Spirit's children? Could any of us truly sleep at night without our souls being liberated in this vast expanse? This is what we have to commit to. Could we dare begin to pray for ourselves without praying for one and all? And could any of us be truly free until all beings, without exception, swim equally in this ocean of emancipation? And perhaps political freedom joined with spiritual freedom, time joined with the timeless, space joined with infinity, we will finally come to rest, finally to peace, finally to a home that structures care into the cosmos and compassion into the world, touches each and every soul with grace and goodness and goodwill, and lights each being with a glory that never fades or falters, each being with a glory that never fades or falters. And we are called, you and I, by the voice of the good, the voice of the true, and the voice of the beautiful, called exactly in those terms, to witness the liberation of all sentient beings without exception. And on the distant, silent, lost horizon,
gentle as fog, quiet as tears, the voice continues to call. So that's what we need tomorrow and beyond, in this country and in the world. If anyone has any comments, agreements and disagreements. So let's sit with that for a few minutes.